Okay, this time we're going to be talking about War and Peace, Война и мир by Lev Tolstoy. Leo, to you. Someone said you shouldn't read this in bed because if you fall asleep it could give you a concussion. It's definitely a great big book and close to 1500 pages, especially this old Penguin Classics edition with the tiny little font, see there? But I swear you will not notice the time passing, as it is such an engrossing read. I've always loved 19th century Russian literature, but I actually read War and Peace relatively recently while I was watching the 2016 BBC adaptation. However, don't watch that. Watch this, as Madness might have said in, I think, 1979, and there I go showing my age again. Another epic television adaptation by the legendary Russian filmmaker Sergei Bondarchuk, I'm sure I've got flawless Russian pronunciation there, is a Mosfilm 1965 production, very old-fashioned, very realistic. It looks like the Napoleonic campaigns have been captured on YouTube. So watch this. Definitely great, big, heavy book, we were saying, which is many, many things, especially a thrilling examination of history, populated with dozens of characters with these names as long as my arm, if not longer, these lovely Russian names. And it features big historical events and the small lives of these characters who inhabit these events. There's money, there's sex, there's death, there's redemption, there's quite a few high society balls. Of course, Tolstoy understood aristocracy perfectly, being an aristocrat himself, Count Tolstoy. But it seems to me that the depictions of the farmers, peasants, serfs in the countryside are done with a lot of affection and real understanding. So real history is mixed with fiction and real historical figures with these fictitious characters. My favourite is actually Napoleon, who pops up here and there in unexpected ways. In one particular scene, he goes up to a very senior Russian general and for no apparent reason gently pulls his earlobe while smiling. Whatever. So there's lots of other things, of course. We can't go into that now. There's the hapless young man who's got more money than he knows what to do with and is bamboozled into marrying the beautiful Bacchanalian princess. There's of course a lovely young girl who falls in love with, wait for this, the good but dull man and the bad and bougie boy at the same time. No spoilers, please. So yes, sweeping epic into a period of Russian history, but also an exploration of culture, of philosophy, of psychology and human response to war. But ultimately it is the product of Tolstoy's genius, imaginative and creative power. Readers enter this interlocking web of relationships and face insightful questions about history, such as why do wars start, or do nations rise and fall on the action of so-called great men, such as Napoleon, who goes up to Russian generals and pulls their ears for no apparent reasons? Or are there larger cultural and economic forces at play? The more we strive to account for such events in history rationally, Tolstoy says, the more irrational and incomprehensible do they become to us. We think we are in control, but really there are forces out there way beyond all rational thoughts, and don't we know it? So let's take that into account before we make any plans. I choose to end on another eternal quote. One must believe in the possibility of happiness in order to be happy. Let the dead bury their dead. But while one has life, one must live and be happy. Nazdarovia.